Should be live again. So as always, keeping a little eye on the stream and watching my face appear. Hello, the time is 8 o'clock. I'm back. I'm back with my exciting adventure to try and beat 16 different Sonic the Hedgehog games with the Ring Shuffler. Every time Sonic collects a ring, the game will switch to one of the other games highlighted in orange. There are no more upcoming games. I've been doing this 4 games at a time. Every time a game gets beaten, it gets put into the completed games queue. And a new game from the upcoming games queue will be put into its place. I've beaten 13 games now, a grand total of 13 games, which means that I have a grand total, and I notice I am clipping really quite a lot right now. So let's move the microphone. I think this is back where it was yesterday. It's quite hard to tell. Anyway, yep. I have a grand total of 3 more games left to beat. Sonic Advance 3 just started, Sonic the Hedgehog 2 just started, and Sonic Advance 2, which is what you're seeing right now, is roughly, I'd say, maybe a third of the way done at most. So it is early days in these 3 games, but we are on the final leg. Yesterday I beat Sonic Spinball, Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, and Sonic 2 on the Master System. After about 3 hours worth of play to beat each one. I don't know how long it's going to take me to beat all of these. There is only one way to find out, and that is to start playing. So I guess, without further ado, let's continue this adventure. I'm going to press the timer button, and you can see the clock has started running again. So, it's all to play for now. Let's see, I'm really hoping I can finish the run by the end of the night. My guess was that the entire 16 game run would take me about 24 hours. I feel like I'm ahead of schedule, but it's very hard to tell. If this whole thing... If this whole thing is to beat my 24-hour expectation, I will need to beat the entire roster of games I have basically until 11 o'clock tonight to do it in. So I want to see if I can beat that expectation. Feels like it should be straightforward, especially because I feel like I've got the... I feel like I'm past the hardest part of the run now, because I know Sonic Advance 2 is going to be one of the harder games, but it's only paired with 2 other games now, so I am going to be freer to, like the more games that you have paired up with you, so... I've got 3 games in the roster right now. The more games in the roster, the harder it is to beat any individual one, because you're spending more time switching out of the hard ones. You've got more time spent forgetting wherever it was you were in the level and what you're trying to do. So, it's all go, and I can see Black Doom in the audience. Hello, Black Doom, welcome back. I am loving that Argic emoji there. And hello, Chippy. Hello, welcome back to the stream, Chippy, as well. So Chippy is betting about 2 hours to finish the rest of the remaining trilogy. So get your bets in the chat, really, I guess, is the watchword. How long do you think it's going to take me to beat the final 3 games in the roster? I mean, it could be. It's hard to tell. So I'm guessing that individually, each of these games will probably take me about an hour to beat each. So the sum total I would put as about 3 hours, and then add an extra hour on for my ability to mess up. And that is about 4 hours, which takes us to 22 hours. So I think it's... I mean, I'm pretty happy that I am going to beat the entire thing within 24 hours. Will I beat it before midnight tonight? That's the hard bit. And yes, I beat Spinball and Mean Bean Machine last night. Spinball was hard work. And I will try my very hardest, Chippy. Yeah, Spinball was hard work. But I did manage in the end. Hello, Dennis. Welcome back to the stream. So, I did manage Spinball in the end. Very proud of that. And, Animus, in the stream gave me some tips, which made it a lot more bearable to do. Like, basically told me how I was supposed to do it. So, having beaten it once over Christmas, like, without the ring swapping, as a kind of form of practice, and that time I beat it with only the vaguest idea of what I was doing in the final boss. There is a lot of hidden information in the Spinball final boss. There's a lot that you kind of wish it would tell you that it doesn't tell you. Yeah, that's fair enough, falling asleep during the stream. I mean, I guess I'm just glad that I didn't fall asleep during my own stream. Otherwise, that would have been a very long time to spend in these games. I'm sure it would have been an interesting abstract stream. Hello, Robert. Welcome. Yeah, Sonic Spinball really does make me tense up as well. I could see it. I watched back the clip of when I actually beat it, and the faces I was making at the time were something special. I had no idea. Like, I know when I was a kid I used to make weird faces when I was playing video games. I had no idea I still did it. And if you watch the footage back, I am, like, making really odd faces the entire time. Because I'm concentrating so hard. I don't know if I do that normally. I have literally no idea what my face is doing when I'm playing. But yeah, so beat Spinball, and then I'd say, I mean, the times are on the side there. I think it's about half an hour later is when I beat Sonic 2, and then another half hour after that I beat Mean Bean Machine. Sonic 2, the final level, Scrambled Egg Act 2, was really quite nasty. That took a lot of attempts. Lots of nice death traps, lots of needing to react to being spit out of pipes and stuff like that. So that was not easy. And then Mean Bean Machine. See, I enjoyed doing Mean Bean Machine. It felt like a breath of fresh air, even though I did need to concentrate really hard and react really quickly. It was almost like it was a kind of smaller problem space in Sonic, because you're not looking over the entire screen for the next obstacle. Like, and I think I'm going back the way I came. Yeah, with Mean Bean Machine, I could kind of, like, it was very hard to kind of plan an attack, but once I did land an attack, you know, it would go off without me, and as long as I guess as long as I switched into Mean Bean Machine, like, after not too long a delay, and I wasn't holding down a bad set of buttons, I could put together nice chains and combos. But I just had to think. I just had to do it really fast. I guess, in many ways, what I had to do with Mean Bean Machine was just play Mean Bean Machine really well. I had to play it fast, which is how Mean Bean Machine wants to be played anyway. That's the way to beat the harder levels on Mean Bean Machine, is just be really fast. So in a way, it wasn't like what I was dealing with was dramatically different to just playing Mean Bean Machine well. But it was interesting. I think the fact it was like Mean Bean Machine with a kind of extra edge to it. After I beat all of these games, I've got a few things I want to do. I mean, obviously not tonight. I think tonight, once I beat them, I'm going to go to sleep. But long term, there's other things I want to do. I've had a bunch of stuff in the magic box. If you go to my website and click around, hopefully you will see some links to a thing I call the magic box, which is it's very similar to this ring switching stuff. It does the ring switching, but it's just for Mega Drive, Game Gear, and Master System. But it also has a bunch of other features that specifically relate to the 4 main Sonic games. So things like every time you get a ring, Sonic gets faster, or every time you get a ring, it writes random data into the level layout. And those are things I want to play with right now. I want to see, like, how long will it take me to beat Sonic 2, where every time I collect rings, it writes data into the level? How long will it take me to beat Sonic 1, where every time I get a ring, he gets faster? Can I actually beat... So there's a version of the game I've got where every time you collect a ring, it removes pixels from the screen. So can I beat a Sonic game before all the pixels get spirited away? I like the sound of Mina Bean. That's nice. Brain training as a shuffle. So, WarioWare is in here. And that's another thing I'd like to do. I got an eye on doing... mixing in WarioWare with something. I'd like to try out running the 3 Game Boy Mario games. So Mario Land, Mario Land 2, and Wario Land. With the ring shuffler. In that game, rings are coins. And that's how that one works, is it switches you when you get a coin or jump on an enemy. Basically, it's any increase in score is what that will trigger that one. So that's one thing I want to do, but I think the one I'm most enthusiastic to do is Sonic 2, where every time I collect a ring, it writes random data into the level. I think that's got a nice kind of change of... Like, it could throw up some interesting things that the Ring Shuffler doesn't, so that's why I'm kind of most interested in that. Other things I want to do next, because I guess hacking around with classic games is just one string on my bow. Another thing that I do like to do is kind of creativity and sort of improv type things. So, people who have watched my channel before might have seen me doing things like trying to come up with 100 game ideas in 1 hour based on prompts typed into Twitch chat. Or painting things based on criteria typed into Twitch chat and using a webcam to judge whether I'm painting it well enough, like the computer has a built-in kind of monitor looking at what colors I'm using, and things like that. So that's something I want to do once I finish this. That's the next thing I want to play around with on stream, is doing these kind of improvised painting, drawing, poetry things where the audience can write in. So one thing I've got queued up to do is Romeo and Juliet. Romeo and Juliet's set up so that I'll be reading it on screen, like a dramatic reading, where the audience can choose, they can type into Twitch chat to replace specific words from the script. So if you want to change Romeo's name to Alistair and Juliet's name to Alistair, you can do that. If you want to change the word is to isn't, you can do that. And basically give the audience free reign to make their own weird version of things. Oh, thank you very much for spotting that. I've not been watching the chat, so here we go. Let's ban Kenny. Oh my god, I banned Kenny. Was that the only one? I think that was the only one. Hello, Foodmasku, welcome, and wherefore art I? And I'm just having a look. Every time you get a ring, your character changes. That could be interesting. Let's see. I think that's everything done. Anyway, cool. Alright, that's done. So yeah, the Romeo and Juliet one is one I've got kind of queued up and ready to go, so I might do that one this weekend. I guess depends, unless I end up with anything else that I'm doing over the weekend. But that's sort of in the pipeline. I've got a couple of painting ones I want to try out, because if you've seen me doing the painting where I need to fit, basically I need to paint the thing described by the audience using the set of colors that the audience tells me to use, and the camera will judge me based on what colors it sees. And my goal is to try and make something that the computer will class as art. And it's, so yeah, I've got changes I want to make to that, to make it a bit, because I don't know, there's basically, I came back with a bunch of ways I wanted to make it better. So having added some of them and having more that I want to add, that's kind of up there. And then another thing where the audience can type in coordinates and they can ask me to paint specific things in specific locations. I can't remember how to beat this one. I think I need to get close in and then... Can I get him up there? No. Getting a lot of use out of damage boosting. Yeah, I mean, I love doing stuff with Pokemon. Pokemon's the really interesting thing, I think, in Pokemon is the data. So, because, there's a lot of stats and numbers in there, and using the wrong numbers in the wrong places can get very interesting. I think with the Shuffler, I don't know how Pokemon would work in an interesting way on account of it's turn-based anyway, so... it's not a game where you ever need to react to anything. Well, things I would like to do is something like, say, Pokemon, where every time, like, if you have multiple games of Pokemon going at once, and the Pokemon in your party are swapping with other instances of the same game or something, I think that could be kind of interesting. So, yeah, those are things I've got coming up. Other things I wanted to do, I'm trying to think what else is on there. What else I have in there, kind of queued up in my magic bag. Okay, that was enough to kill him. So yeah, what else have I got? Yeah, I mean, I guess the improv type stuff is the stuff I'm quite excited about. That one, if you ever saw me do the one where I was in front of the camera for 6 hours, anything the audience typed into chat, I would advertise as if the stream was now sponsored by that thing they just typed in. That's something that's... so basically, all of these weird kind of creative improv type things are going into a game which I'm working on, which is a collection of these kind of activities that a streamer can play with their audience, kind of all wrapped up in a kind of suite. So by the end of it, they should have created this whole kind of, this collection of performance art that they've dreamt up with their audience. And then they're kind of asked to think about it from a kind of artistic perspective. So within that, and I've done a bit of filming for this already, which is really me standing in front of a green screen with a webcam, but it's filming nevertheless, where I play this performance artist character who's been directing the audience to make these things the whole time, and the idea being is that at the end of it, you have a conversation with this character living inside the game, who asks you questions about what is art and things like that. So I'm really looking forward to kind of getting stuck into that. I mean, obviously some bits of this I've already workshopped, which is why I'm kind of doing it, because I'm kind of confident that the idea works in principle. But now it's a case of figuring out the details, what needs to be added in, you know, how does the whole sequence of challenges work. So that's, yeah, that's what's next. But yeah, I'd like to do, with the ring switcher, Sonic R, because I kind of chickened out of having Sonic R in this sort of collection, because, evil is exactly what I like to bring to the world. And yeah, don't worry, Dennis, there will be plenty more of things like that coming up. But yeah, where was I going? Yeah, Sonic R, I want to do, basically, because there's 5 courses in Sonic R, I want to have it set up so I have basically all 5 courses being raced at the same time, switching between each other using the ring shuffler. And my challenge is to get a victory in each of the 5 races. So, Sonic Advance 2 bosses are tough, because it's very easy to get rings and very easy to lose rings. So, it's likely I will stay in Sonic Advance 2 for a handful of frames and then be, like, shot straight out of it. And that's, that makes it quite challenging. Would it be possible to add the 3D games to the shuffler? So, yeah, so Dennis is right, as long as they run on BizHawk. And right now, like, the GameCube and Dreamcast, I don't think there is an implementation of any, appropriate emulators in BizHawk. However, it is possible that either they get added to BizHawk in the future, or I could try adding it, and it's something I've started looking into but haven't got far with just because I'm easily distracted. But basically, doing it in Dolphin, so you'll just be limited to games on the GameCube, and Wii, I believe, with Dolphin. But I haven't, like, I basically fiddled around with it a little bit, made sure I can build it. I haven't looked into any particular detail on sort of how feasible it would be, but I'm hoping it will be doable. It may be a bit more of a technical challenge because I am expecting the files that will need to be cached in memory, or read from disk, to be that much larger for GameCube games. So we'll see, but it's something I want to experiment with and see what would be possible to do. And even if it's not possible to do shuffling with the GameCube games, it may still be possible to do other wacky stuff. So let's see, because I do like well, I do like just kind of hacking around with random stuff, you know. And if you maybe not being able to do the thing I'm kind of expected to do will be inspiration to do something that no one will see coming. Let's put it like that. I'm a wannabe performer. I appreciate not giving people what they expect. So, second boss in Sonic 2. Sonic 2 not proving to be too threatening so far, which is good. So, quite happy with that. To be honest, I'm not expecting much difficulty from Sonic 2. Maybe Wing Fortress, that's the only time I can think of off the top of my head where there's rings in a similar location to instant death. So yeah, so I'm having a look at what's in the chat. Yeah, no, please, that does sound really interesting. So yeah, please do, like, send me a link to that. I'd be delighted to, like, I'd be fascinated to, basically find out a bit more about what it is. I think I'm out of rings on this boss, which is nice. I don't know if this is a thing that affects all bosses in this game, but some of them... Oh, well, there's all the rings total in this level, so I need to be careful not to die. But I think there is a finite number of rings in this level, and the level just kind of loops round or something. So once you have eliminated all the rings in the level, it becomes fair game. I do remember when yeah, I've never got all of the emeralds in Advance 2 or Advance 1. I don't really like the process of getting into the special stages or the special stages themselves. But after a lot of work a long time ago, I did manage to get all the emeralds in Advance 3. Which is good, because that's my favourite of the three of them. I like Advance 3 more than the others. I feel like it's kind of got the best of both. Although I do like Advance 2 because of how unique it is, or at least until Sonic Rush came out, which I kind of feel like does a lot of what Sonic Advance 2 does, but kind of cranked up a notch. Eventually the level wraps around and you run out of ground. I did not know that happened in Sonic Adventure 2. I guess I've not tried running around with Shadow for that long. I know it does get interesting apparently in the final boss. Like, there's a lot of dialogue for when you're fighting the final boss in Sonic Adventure 2. And if you can keep your ring count high enough and keep the level... Oh no, that's it! The space colony does eventually crash into the Earth if you leave it for long enough. Or something like that. But you need to be really good at keeping your ring count high to get to that situation in the first place. But yeah, very hard to kind of... There's some things which are kind of hard to avoid. Wow, I do not know what squished me there. Do the characters start freaking out? That's quite fun, I like that. So, I feel like I'm going to need to... This is, like, there's always, at some point, like, there's bits in the games where I can kind of just play fairly mindlessly. And then there's bits in the games where I really need to start concentrating. And one of the ones where I need to start concentrating is Sonic Advance 2. Every time a boss comes up, that's one of these kind of focus points in the game where I need to start thinking about how I'm playing. The arrowhead telling me to go that way, so I shall believe it. I shall trust it. I also know that there are more death traps in Sonic Advance 2 than any of the others. My expectation is for Sonic Advance 2 to be one of the hardest. Although, given that it's near the end, I might very well end up with Sonic Advance 2 and just one other game in the shuffler, which will make it that bit easier. So in a way, from a research perspective, I'm kind of glad that the games I'm playing last are the ones I kind of... So Sonic Advance 2 and Sonic Advance 3, I've already played with them in a shuffler, so I kind of know their flavors in a way. And then Sonic 2, I'll be honest, I'm not expecting much from it by way of surprises, although I say that as I'm about to drown, and I can't remember where the air is in that level. And maybe I need to start thinking about where to get air from. Is there air over here? Please be air over here. Oh, well, let's find out. I was hoping... Come on, air, 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 air. No air. And there's the air bubble. Oh, well. So, I am not sure what WSL is, so you might have to enlighten me on that, Dennis. Yeah, I mean, with the dolphin stuff, I guess I know enough C++ to kind of get by. Let's see how that goes when I get around to taking a having a go at it. Yeah, Linux inside of Windows, probably way outside my level of my expertise. I don't know a great deal about Linux. But yeah, it is fun to take a bit of, a bit of software and play around with it and see what new things you can turn it into. I think that's sort of... Oh, I'm drowning. I didn't even hear the music. So I think I might have another drowny situation on my hands. God, those rings come by so fast. It's really hard to miss them. Oh wow, that's a death. So let's keep this going. I think I'm going to drown in Sonic 2. Fortunately, I've got infinite life, so I don't need to worry about these deaths in things. And I hope your, I hope your WSL works out for you. I'm sure you'll figure it out eventually. I guess it's like all of these things. And then once you figured it out once, you won't need to work it out a second time, and it'll be easier to work out other things in future. So, yeah, good luck. I hope you figure it out. Yeah, Sonic Advance 2 is the worst for special stage. Finding the 7 rings and the fact that you have to do that every time you want to go into a special stage is you need to get those special rings over and over again. I quite like the fact in Advance 3, if you want to get to a special stage, you, like... Finding the KOs is a really nice navigation challenge. And also the fact that, like, because they're numbered, you can kind of narrow down where you might find them. Yep, down I go. So on the, like... So this Risk of Drowning is kind of elevating Sonic 2 in terms of interestingness, because, I'll be honest, I was kind of expecting very little by way of threats in this game. Because, yeah, I can't think of any places where there's bottomless pits or anything like that, and those tend to be the killers. Sonic 3, I don't remember being any bits where I went, oh, this is made significantly harder because of the shuffler. Being underwater seems to make things harder because of the shuffler. You don't have to get all the Chao in one run. You do have to keep on going back for the key, which is a bit annoying, but there's only one key, and am I right in remembering there's multiple locations where you might find the KO key? Tried to avoid getting those rings. So it was more feasible. And also I think just the special stages were better. I don't like the ones in Sonic Advance 1 because it feels like it expects you to have depth perception. It is hard to tell which rings are like like in the distance and which ones are kind of which ones are near the top of the screen and stuff like that. It feels like it expects you to have better depth perception that you could possibly have with a 2D screen and sprites. Sonic 2, the special stages I remember Sonic Advance 2, sorry, I remember the special stages being more bearable. But you had to, it was a real headache to try and get into them in the first place. Sonic Advance 3 also had a bit of a problem of some of the rings you really feel like you were supposed to have depth perception, but you don't have depth perception. And it has a bit of that, but it's kind of good enough to get away with it. But I'll be honest, there's been few games where they've managed to do special stages as well as they did in Sonic 2. I like the Blue Spheres game in Sonic 3. I really like the special stages in Sonic Mania. I like the special stages in Sonic CD. But I don't think they were ever able to redo whatever the magic that they weaved in Sonic 2. I feel like they've had many attempts at capturing that magic again, and not a great many successes. So I will have to get back to the chat after I have. Okay, that's good. This is good. But I'm having to be very careful because... yeah. Because it's very easy to die. The specials... yeah, I also hate that about the special key. I think when when I did that, I had a lot more time on my hands. When I was a student at university, I was playing Sonic Advance 3, so, these days I don't think I would have, quite the free time to be able to do it now. I can't remember if I need to go back for rings, so I'm just going to go back just in case. There we go, that's a ring. That will help me. I can't remember which way I'm meant to go. Am I meant to go up or down? Okay, I'm going to guess at this way. It can't be this way because there's nothing to get me up there, so it must be up this way. Jump on this platform. Use the team action. There does seem to be an abundance of checkpoints, which I am very happy about. So I don't know if the rings in Sonic Advance 2 run out because the level runs out of rings, or because I eat them all. There we go, that was nice, straightforward dispatching of a boss there. Very happy with that. 3 zones down. I can't remember how many zones are in Sonic 2. I mean, it is quite a few, so, Casino Night after this. Now, going into a gambling machine will probably be a good idea, because it means I can take Sonic 2 out of action for a little while, giving me a better chance to focus on the game I really need to focus on, which is Advance 2. Another thing that will take Sonic 2 out of action is beating Sonic 2, so that's also an approach I could take. So let's see how this goes. So, maybe if I start by just aiming to get rid of the turrets, because once I get rid of the turrets, it's going to be slightly easier for me to get rid of the... It's going to be slightly easier for me to get rid of the other things. It's going to be safer for me to attack the boss, is basically where I was going. It is when you have to concentrate. It's very hard to keep a coherent sentence going sometimes. And that was me hitting that wheel on the side there, which is why I lost my rings. But I want to get those flying bullets out the way as well. And somehow I've managed to loop back on myself. Oh well. No harm done. Okay, I want some rings, just for safety. It is fine, I've got 2 games going on where Tails can pick up rings for me. And that's quite fun. Because that means I will be swapped through no fault of my own. If I get Tails to bring me up there, that is the way to progress. Okay, this is the way I've already been. But there's something up here that I was failing to do. Okay, let's see if the grind well is where I'm supposed to be. Alright, this I remember. So where did I fail to go forwards? Oh, maybe I... Okay, I need to just not press anything so I can slide along that rail. Trying to avoid getting those rings. I think this is the route to the exit. I've found rings, so that means I've not been there before. Oh, wow. Okay, well, that's annoying. That's about 2 minutes progress lost there. Oh, well. try not to jump if I can help it. Oh, wow. There's an enemy there. Right. Okay. Oh, that was lucky. That wasn't... I know I went against my plan there. My plan was to avoid picking up rings if I... sorry, taking hits until I'd got... until I'd got rid of the, turrets. And that's an act done. So I think... Yeah, so the reason I did it with 4 games in the active slot is because I thought it would make for kind of better narrative. Because the problem is, like, and maybe, like, with more games, you just get a, you know, a different narrative. And that time, basically, you know, when you've got a difficult thing going on, how long are you spending, you know, away from that difficult bit, and is it long enough that it will break your concentration and you will no longer be able to do the difficult bit? And I think that's the interesting thing that having a lot of games throws up, is it means that you spend longer out of the bit that gives you trouble. But I decided to go for 4 games because that felt like, basically, instead of doing 16 games all at the same time, and spending a large chunk of it, the process, in a sort of state of no individual game is particularly hard. I'm just playing it kind of mindlessly and there's a lot of them. And then to suddenly go, you know, get to the difficult bits in the games and go like, oh, well, I guess they're all difficult at the same time. The reason I wanted to kind of split it up into a kind of a relay of 4 games at a time is so that you'd get the narrative ebb and flow of, you know, a couple of games are in a really hard section, a couple of games are in a really easy section, and you'll get that kind of mix, which forces you to interact with the combination, you know, it forces you to interact with the fact that, and there's a sense of progress, you know, you can see stuff being chipped off, you get these little victories that pepper their way through the experience, and so I thought from a kind of interestingness of challenge, you know, interestingness of spectacle, it kind of made sense to limit it so that there's only 4 in play at a time, so that you actually, you know, you get to spend meaningful time with each game. So I need to stay on that rail, so I want to avoid pressing the jump button when I'm near rings until I'm at the end of this grind rail. So I'm going to release immediately and not touch it for a while. Okay, I think that's me off. I think that grind rail is where I failed last time. I think I fell off of it. Oh no, it was here. Okay, so I need to go round this and something needs to ping me back round. Right, let's find out. Yeah, I think that is what I need to do. I just need to let the springs do the work. There I go. And let my momentum carry me right to the end. Oh, there's Gemo already, or Emo. I can't remember which one's which. It's Emo or Gemo. I think this is Gemo. And there we go. I know, I mean, if you want to see someone who's put in a ton of different games, like a real kind of, games. I think it was Yoshi Chief. So it's twitch.tv/Yoshi Chief. Did a stream a few months ago with all 42 games supported by the Ring Shuffler at that time. I think it was all 42. No, he didn't do it with sorry, I'm mixing things up. He did it... God, I can't remember how many games he had, but he had quite a few going on in the rotation, and I can't remember how many the Shuffler supported at the time. I think that was with the Brasentia's BizHawk Shuffler, the, like, Lua script, Shuffler with the timer. I think that's where he did 42 games. Anyway, Yoshi Chief's a great streamer, and he does a lot of fun stuff, you know, experimenting with shufflers and things like that. But I know he's done a stream where he put in, like, a silly number of games which are all supported by the Ring Shuffler. You know, Mario Land was in there, Wario Land was in there, Tetris was in there, Mario 64 was in there. I wasn't going to make it. I chickened out and lost rings for my trouble. So, there we go. Don't know if there's too much to think about with this boss. Can't remember. It's like hitting a football. Ooh, that was a death, but I got a ring, so I'm safe. Excellent spin round. I do like the rotation effects on this. There are certain games where you go... You feel like, okay, this was a dev team who didn't usually get to work much with sprite rotation, who has now discovered they can rotate sprites at speed on this hardware, and they use it to do really interesting stuff. Like, I think you notice in a lot of the Treasure games, you notice a lot of sprite scaling stuff in Knuckles Chaotix. Treasure games, Mischief Makers on the N64 has this thing where there's a lot of sections where they're rotating sprites, scaling sprites and things, and it feels like they used to be in an environment where they couldn't really do transformations on sprites, and now they can, and they just want to use it all the time. And I kind of know that because I've been there myself when I started making games in a language called Blitz Basic back in the day, and you couldn't really rotate sprites and scale them in real time. And, you know, it would be one of these operations that took longer than a frame to do, so you couldn't really use it. You had to kind of preload in versions of the same sprite, and it would never look nice. And when I started making games using XNA, and that had all kinds of ability to rotate and scale sprites, and once I started making games in that, everything I did would scale up and scale down, and it would squish when you hit it, and I was like, all of these 2D transformations just all over the shop, because I was like so excited to be able to do it. And sometimes you play a game and you feel like, I mean, I may just be assuming my experience is, someone else's experience is identical to my experience, which is never a good thing to assume, but it did certainly, it made sense to me as a theory to say they went through the same thing I did, of going, you can rotate sprites now? I always do think it looks, and maybe it's just because of my, personal experience and knowing, what that was like to have this eureka moment of finding out you could scale sprites. But I like to imagine that they had the same response to it. So I'm nearly at a boss. feel like there could be some dangerous traps in this level in Advanced 3 now. I mean, this is a section where Advanced 3 starts to challenge you. Tails is having a good time there. I don't know what he was trying to do, but I think he was having fun, and that's what matters. Okay. I guess there's some bosses I'm so used to damage boosting off of that... And of course, with the Ring Shuffler, yes, you can damage boost. You can let yourself lose some rings and then go back and get them. But you've lost that kind of... Now, like, losing a ring and going back to get it is no longer risk-free in the way that it was before. Oh, God. I do wonder how long... Because it's perfectly plausible that you're going to lose the ring as... because you're going to forget where you dropped it when you switch back into the game or something. Or, well, no, because you have to get it, but then it'll... If you damage boost, you drop your ring, you go back and get it, it switches you out of the game. Next time you switch into the game, you'll, like, not... You'll, like, be in a weird position and you're not sure where you are, and that will mean you'll have to go... You have to, like, kind of readjust to the game and, like, your position in the level before you can make progress. So, damage boosting with the Ring Shuffler can be a bit risky because you're reliant that once you switch back into the game that you are going to be able to keep your bearings. Okay, so that section is very easy to fall off the edge of the world there, because if you look, once I switch back into Sonic 2 on the Master System, I'm going to plummet to my death, because here's a section I need to guarantee that I am not pressing the jump button. So here I'm trying not to touch any buttons. Especially when I'm near rings, because I can't really press anything safely while I'm on that rope swing. Here. Right. Oh, I really wanted to hit the thing that just hit me, the turrets. I really want to get those turrets, because if I eliminate the turrets, it's going to make it that much easier to beat that boss once all the rings have gone. Okay, that's another hit on it, so that's good, I'm happy. In the last time in this area, I did manage to get that boss into its, kind of the second phase, where the music changes. Just call Tails to throw me up there. There we go. Or I could just jump over here. I've been able to do that this whole time, and hadn't even crossed my mind. Right. Okay, that's one turret down. On the ground rail. Again, I want to avoid jumping if I can, but just get Tails to throw me up here. Easy. Right, so what's next for Sonic now? kind of guessing at which way I'm meant to go, because I know this is quite a windy level. Oh, that's not the way to go. That's the way to go. Oh dear. Okay, Tails can throw me back up. Or maybe this is a good way to go. I don't think this is backwards. I think this is forward progress. So let's see. Right, and then this way. I think I need to get some rings just for the safety, and that's okay because I got pinged into them. Did take a bit of a risk there. It's weird, it was just kind of natural to do that. I can roll under some of these rings. I hadn't even thought about that. Okay, I thought I was a little worried I'd run out of I'd managed to depart from the ring section. I had not. No point damage boosting through that tunnel there. That is an opportunity that's gone, and that is... I did not realise that that could sink into the floor. Oh well. Seem to be in a position where I can just play pretty recklessly in Sonic 2 at the moment. There's always rings somewhere that I can draw upon. I was hoping I'd be able to jump up into that thing, and that's an opportunity gone, but I... Just making progress running up to the boss there, like, in Advance 2, running up towards the boss, and then because I was rolling in another game, I end up rolling in Sonic Advance 2. And losing that good footing I had. I do like the bosses where you are chasing after them, because kind of your footing does seem to make an impact. You know, you're dealing with the momentum, with Sonic's momentum in quite a complex way, and I find that quite interesting, like, in terms of what you're having to do as a player. But it is the rings themselves that loop round, because I just saw there was a section where there were a couple already gone, but not all of them. So that's interesting to know. Well, I should have a bit more kind of free space in Advance 2 now. And I do have the boss on the ropes. I think I've only got a couple more hits to get in now. So this is me in good stead. I've got rings, so I'm relatively safe. I've got rid of another turret. So I'm quite happy with my position right now. Not too many turrets. Not many rings left. Just waiting for a place where it's safe to jump up now. The thing is, I don't want to get hit because I am going to drop the rings. So I'll have to think about my positioning. And there we go. That's it. That's that boss done. So now I can kind of tune out of Sonic Advance 2 for a little while. But they do... The running stages do interact interestingly with the shuffler because of having to kind of, you know, get your brain back into them, like, once you're sort of tagged out of them, and you have to do that a lot. And it's hard to avoid rings. It's hard to plan to go, oh, here's a way I can avoid getting rings entirely. Like, you can't really do that. You are going to the rings will come up, like, they'll come up upon you from nowhere. It is quite nasty. I am noticing that the levels in Sonic Advance 3 seem to be quite long. And I don't know if that's going to be something that affects the run, in terms of which games get finished first and last. I mean, in a way, there's part of me expecting Sonic Advance 2 to be finished last just because it's hardest. But it could be Sonic Advance 3 just because it's longest. Because it is a big game and it has a lot of rings. A lot of opportunities to get hit. Let's see if I can jump this without... I'm dependent on whatever's below me. Okay, so it was kind of safe. That's okay. There we go. In a way, I'm kind of keeping an eye out for things I might need to worry about at the moment. So in Sonic Advance 3, I am, like, my brain is in kind of navigation mode. I am trying, every time I warp in, I'm having to kind of figure out from scratch again which direction I think I'm supposed to be going in. Because the levels are quite windy and loopy. Whereas in Sonic 2, I know my way because I played this game enough times, and you generally go to the right. In Advance 2, you generally go to the right or you get pinged about. Sonic Advance 3, the levels are a bit more windy. They take you in weirdy-beardy directions. And so with that in mind, it is... Where was I going? Yeah. Like, navigating Sonic Advance 3, it is very easy to end up kind of doubling back on yourself. Because you forgot, oh, I'm supposed to be going left now, or oh, I'm supposed to be going up now. And that's something that sort of... So every time I switch into Sonic Advance 3, I'm having to make this mental calculation of, okay, where do I think I'm supposed to be going? And I have to, every time I switch in, it's like I need to redo that calculation. So that's something interesting that Advance 3 is throwing up. It's kind of interestingly similar to Triple Trouble and Knuckles Chaotix, were both games where the reason they were interesting with the shuffler is because the navigation got really complicated. But I feel with Sonic Advance 3, it's slightly different. Like, with Knuckles Chaotix, you kind of... It was irritating, but you kind of knew that you could ping about a certain amount, and eventually you'd get to where you wanted to go. Okay, maybe not. No, when you get lost in Knuckles Chaotix, there is nothing interesting to interact with. When you get lost in Sonic Advance 3, you'll warp in, and there'll be rings, and there'll be moving parts, and there'll be all kinds of things that are interesting to interact with. So it's almost like it's interesting in a similar way to the way that Knuckles Chaotix is interesting, but with a kind of different flavor to it. With a flavor that's exciting, and it does feel like I'm still concentrating. It's not a, you know... It doesn't feel quite so mindless as Chaotix did. Like, Knuckles Chaotix was a real kind of mind-bender, but because it was like... You're trying to... You know, you could be needing to go in one of 8 different directions. And it is impossible... It's really hard to see what that direction should be, because there's no landmarks in Knuckles Chaotix. Like, everything looks the same. Everything looks like a colourful mess. Oh, I got an extra life for my score. That's cool. In Sonic Advance 3, there's interesting level layouts. Like, there's landmarks, there's traps, there's things that you can point to and go, oh, I'm near this trap. So, reorienting yourself and figuring out where you're supposed to go is a more kind of solvable challenge. Like, in Chaotix, it's just be lost until you're not lost anymore. Whereas with Sonic Advance 3, you can see, okay, there's that thing I recognize, there's that thing I recognize, I surmise that here's where I'm meant to go. You go there, you grab a ring, you get switched out. And the challenge comes from needing to make that judgment over and over again. So that's what's kind of mentally tiring about it. As opposed to Chaotix, where it was just kind of mentally tiring because, like, getting lost over and over again would wear you down. Like, it wasn't like... It wasn't like when you switch into Knuckles Chaotix, you're thinking. It's when you switch into Knuckles Chaotix, you are focusing on remembering what you've just been thrown out of. And your mental attention is kind of elsewhere. Whereas when I switch into Sonic Advance 3 and I need to work out where I am, my focus is on the here and now. My focus is on Sonic Advance 3 and trying to solve this problem, which is, how do I navigate in Sonic Advance 3? If I switch into Knuckles Chaotix during a hard bit of, say, Sonic Pocket Adventure, my attention is on Pocket Adventure, but I'm in Chaotix. Whereas here, when I'm getting into a complicated bit where I'm lost, my focus is in Sonic Advance 3, which is the game I'm playing. So, I guess that's... I've talked about different games having different kind of flavours in the shuffler, and I think that's an example, an interesting comparison to make, is... Like, these are two games which kind of do something... They do something interesting with the shuffler for the same reasons, but they go about it with a different flavour. Like, there is a different sense of what I'm doing with my mind when I get lost. And that's kind of my reason for doing this whole stream in the first place, is to find out what it does to my mind. You know, and come at it from a kind of perspective of, like, a scientific experiment, you know? What is my mind doing when I'm going through these games challenges and trying to describe what's going on internally? Because I kind of want to kind of gain an understanding of what I'm doing as a human being when I'm playing games, and, you know, some of that will be different to how other people approach them, some of them will be similar, and hopefully I'll learn from that. And that is my grand thesis statement. I feel like I'm weirdly far through Sonic 2 already. Like, maybe I'm only at the halfway point. I'm gonna go back for that air, and the arrows are pointing me in another direction, so maybe I have been going the wrong way. Let's find out. Oh god, I always forget that's there. I mean, I'm talking about casual play, and that happened to me a ton when I was playing just the Sonic Advance trilogy in the shuffler. I kept on dying to that same bit over and over again because I forget it's there. And that's one of these kind of navigation challenges where it's not necessarily that the game itself is hard, but it's just that, like, because you forget your way around, because it winds about so much, you forget what the challenge is that you were supposed to be watching out for. Well, that's kind of interesting. Right. Okay, I need to figure out where I need to go. Okay, I think I need to go up that way, so just let it ping me up there, and then go to the left into these rings. I see the red spring there, and it makes me think, oh, that's where I'm supposed to want to go. And I'm not. That's the red spring that pings me backwards. So it's funny, even when I'm, like, on paper I'm used to running left to right, there's other signifiers in the level which make you go, oh no, I'm meant to go a different direction. And I've got speed boots in 2 games and invincibility in the other. There we go. Speed boots run out there, I think. I really like this tune, by the way. Not that you'll hear much of it, but I do really like the Ocean Bass Act 2 theme. I think it does really... The percussion's really interesting, like it... The way the tempo feels like it slows down and speeds up at the beginning. And I think the tempo's staying consistent, but it's the, you know, the drum beat and the use of triplets that makes it feel like it slows down and then speeds up.
3, 2, 1, go!
Right, so, up here, end of Act 1. The arrow's telling me to go left. Oh, into the tube. It's interesting having to pay attention to those arrows. Mystic Cave, Act 2 done. Act 1, sorry. So I've got this, then Oil Ocean, Metropolis, Sky Chase, Wing Fortress, Death Egg. So 5 zones, which it's effectively 4 zones. And once I get to Death Egg, there's no rings, so I am getting ever nearer to having just 2 games left on the roster. I want to predict that's going to happen at around 20 minutes and 30 seconds, which unfortunately was Chippy's prediction of when the run would end. I think is going to be the point where we go from 3 games into the final 2. This does feel a bit like Battlestar Galactica. Who are the final 2? There we go. I mean, I would call, you know, 16-game Ring Shuffler the Battlestar Galactica of Sonic games. Make of that what you will. I have no idea what I mean by that, so that's entirely up to you to figure out what I could possibly be talking about. Right, so... Right now, nothing specific I need to worry about, so I'm just kind of concentrating with dealing with stuff as it comes up. We are kind of in 2 games with a lot of rings. Interesting that it feels like Sonic 2 is the least ringy. It's the one when I go into Sonic 2, I seem to stay there longest, which is interesting comparing it to the other Mega Drive games. Like, compared to Sonic 3 and Sonic & Knuckles, you know, this is the one that I would expect to spend least time in because, like, I don't know, I feel like there's more rings and fewer traps in this one. Maybe that's a wrong assumption. But I feel like Advance 2 and 3 are just, like, throwing me into rings constantly at the moment. Which is interesting that when I did the shuffler with 3 advanced games, I had, you know, I had Sonic Advance 1 running constantly. So I nearly did 3 laps of Sonic Advance 1 before finishing the trilogy. And I guess what, you know, you didn't see then, because Sonic Advance 1 was considerably less fast and ringy than Sonic Advance 2 and Sonic Advance 3, is that in that challenge, you didn't see a lot of really rapid swapping when both games are in a section where there's tons of rings. I feel like you might start to get that once I switch, you know, once Sonic 2's eliminated from the set and it's just Advance 2 and Advance 3. There we go. Nice and easy. On to Oil Ocean. Making good progress here, so there's 8 acts left to go, which is equivalent to 4 zones, so I feel like I'm in the final third of the game for Sonic 2 now. Struggling to jump there, need to get that air? I got the air. Can Tails piggyback jump me up there? Yes, he can. Nearly fell into the oil there. Did not fall into the oil. Again, I kind of need to figure out where I'm supposed to go. Maybe if I just hold on to Tails for good luck. I might just do that. I'll just hold down R the entire time. And now I don't have to worry about Tails doing anything anymore. Supposed to run up here? Yes. Oh, did I think I might have jumped down there. Just as I started boogieing, I was getting switched out of the game. Ain't that my luck? Okay, so I need to run up here. I can't just roll up there. And up I go. Kind of just letting the springs guide me at the moment in Advance 2. I will be very nearly at a boss. I seem to remember when I did the Advance Trilogy Shuffler that the ice boss was surprisingly straightforward with the Shuffler. I can't remember why, so I guess we'll find out. I'm a little apprehensive. I think the bosses are a bit scary in Advance 2. So, I mean, to be honest, the bosses are quite tough anyway, even without talk of shufflers, so, oh, missed it. Oh, no, that was the opposite of progress. There we go. That's nice. That's what I wanted. Up in the air I go. And... and crossing over. Good stuff, good stuff. And now onto the boss, and I'm expecting the boss to be hard, but okay, it's this one where I have to jump up onto the pad. Maybe it's just the spacing of the rings that makes jumping up onto the platform just that little bit more straightforward than the kind of more complicated jumps of the previous boss. I can't really remember. Oh well, let's find out. Off we go. Checkpoints are good, I like checkpoints. It's hard to even get close to this thing. And half the time you can't even jump onto the thing that you want to jump on. Do like checkpoints, so I'll take it. It's a silly way to lose some rings. I want to do it without collecting rings if I can. That was some nice jumping. Pretty happy with that. And round I go. Where I stop, nobody knows. There we go, that's a hit. And that's a miss. Right. I kind of jumped there because I thought with that big long flat platform I thought I was at the end of the level. I'm not. This level does go on for quite some time. Well, 3 minutes. Actually 3 minutes isn't that long. But the advanced 3 levels are quite epic in scale. Go. And that one. Now I have to get the ring. I need the safety. There's so I wanted to get that, come on. Ah, I was so close to the platform and it was tilted wrong. Because you need to get to that platform while it's tilted like this, and after a while it'll flip over, and you won't be able to jump on it. And that's the bit I'm struggling with. So I don't think I've been in that boss arena for long, it's just, keep on getting switched out of it so fast. You do not get much of an opportunity to think and then do. Right there, look at that. Look at that. Ah. Right, use Tails to help me back up. Rings. There we go. Invincibility is good. I don't know. As long as I see rings, I know I'm making progress. It's really hard to avoid some things. Maybe if I focus on just holding right in all 3 games. Seeing that I'm kind of happy for Sonic 2 to just do whatever. I'm happy for... Yeah, I'm happy for Sonic 2 to do whatever. It's like, you get this tiny fraction of time to go in, do your hit, and then, like, you need to get in close, jump over the thingy, and then... Right there. Okay, so now I've got to make back all that progress, but I also need to watch out for the bomb drop. There is a lot to pay attention to in this boss. And now look, I finally get close and it's flipped over. Can't remember if red is good or bad. It's bad. Oh! Okay, so I can do the air dash, and if I air dash off of the platform, it'll throw me where I want to go. It'll throw me up into Robotnik's ship. Oh, like I nearly did there. And now it's flipped over again. And I need to wait for rings. Tails getting a ring for me, very helpful. Ah, yes. That was a hit. Clean hit on Robotnik, so I've got 2 hits on him so far. I don't know what the clock is in Advance 2, I'll have to keep an eye out for it, but of course, I want to concentrate on the game, so I'm probably going to miss whatever it shows, if it shows anything. 2 minutes. As soon as I'm building up the right momentum, I end up flying through a bunch of rings. I'm holding right whenever I go near rings because I want to be, if I end up in Sonic Advance 2, I want to be traveling to the right. Oh, yes. Okay, I'm at the halfway point with the boss. The level's looped round again, so now it's dangerous. And I got hit. Oh well, at least I know I can get it to the halfway point. Interesting death. And it does make it a bit pressing for me to try and do it quickly because I don't want to run out of rings. I guess every time I go into Sonic Advance 2, like, I've taken my finger off, so I need to remember what button do I want to be pressing when I switch into Advance 2. So like there, I'd made a point of pressing right when I switched into Advance 2. And there, I pressed left, so I have no idea where I'll end up. And I went too far. Hooray! 2036 for the next completed game. I think that sounds like a good estimate. Anyone else want to place a bet on when they think I will beat the next game and what that next game will be? I mean, I think I've kind of... If you've been listening carefully, you'll have heard me place my bet on what I think it will be. The next game to be finished. But I may be wrong. I've been wrong before. I think I expected Sonic Sonic 2 to be finished before Sonic Spinball. And it was not. Sonic Spinball got finished first, so anything could happen. It's like Stingray. Anything could happen in the next 2023. I hope you mean 20 hours and 23 minutes rather than the year 2023. But I have a sneaky suspicion you mean the year 2023. Which, you know, given the rate at which I'm doing these Sonic Advance 2 bosses, it's not a bad shout. Didn't fall off the platform, that's good. Ooh, whatever I did there was bad, though. Can I jump back up? No, that was a bad move, because I've got... Oh, checkpoint's right there. And now I've got that whole platform is free of rings. Excellent. I know you have so much confidence in me, Black Doom. I know that you are, you know, you're one of these people who's always believed in me, that you never give up on me. And I know that you mean you have every confidence in my Sonic ability. I don't quite know where I'm going, but I'm looking at those arrows and going, yep, they probably tell the way, and down I go. I jump up there with Tails. Let Tails help me out here. Just gonna hold right and jump. Nope, didn't work. Okay. Whatever I was supposed to do, I came up with a better solution. That's have Tails take me up there. Right. Okay. And down I go. Ooh, shield. That's nice. I've no idea where I've been pinged in Advance 3. But I'm going somewhere, and that's nice. The shield. Checkpoint. Very useful. And we're into boss time. I'm trying to think. I felt like I've played Sonic 2 recently, and I couldn't think when. And then I remembered it was the stream I did where I was using... Every time I collected a ring in Sonic 2, it would press a button in a game of Pokemon. I had to try and beat a game of Pokemon using Sonic 2 as a controller. And I did get out of Pallet Town. So that was good. I think I basically got to that bit. I got past... You know, there's a guy lying down in the first city in Pokemon who hasn't had his coffee. I got past him. And that was my, my record. That was a lot of fun, that stream. That was nice and ridiculous. I did have a lot of fun doing that. It was so slow and awkward. There we go. Bye-bye, Robotnik. Good thing, because I had no rings left. Let Tails blow open the capsule, and give those little walruses a nice long distance to crawl. Yeah, that was a lot of fun, but oh god, it took forever. I think I did one stream, I had, like... Because originally it was like the button combinations, like what button was mapped to collect a ring changed over time, but it meant I could just wait next to a bunch of rings in order to get it to press the button that I wanted. And then in the second stream, I did it so that the button that got pressed was based on Sonic's X and Y coordinates. And so the upshot of that was that in order to like, you would be forced to press buttons that you didn't want to, and then you had to recover, like, for the mistakes that you'd made. And that was a lot of fun. Right. And now I've got to remember how to get to Act 3. Is it up here? I hope this is actually up here. It might be the boss room. That's the boss room. Okay, so where's Act 3? Oh, there's Act 3. Oh, okie dokie. I can't remember how many zones there are in Advance 3. Oh, come on, I was so close. You can use the air dash to get underneath Robotnik. And then that brings me in really close to the thing. Do I hold jump? There we go. I had to hold jump while I was getting the rings, and that seemed to be sufficient. Okay, so maybe that's my strategy, is I'm supposed to try and basically go past Robotnik and then slow down a bit to jump up at him while holding right. So, like, that's a good position I'm in now. Felt like I was in a good position there. Ooh, that was a good reaction, because I was not really thinking there. I'm just going to keep on hammering, because I want him to air dash. Oh god, it's so annoying that the... There we go! When the thing flips over, the platform that you need to jump on flips over, and you can't... And it's like, oh, I'm in the perfect position, and I just can't hit Robotnik because I need the platform to have flipped. Okay, so we're into pinch time. There's still rings left in the level, so I've got safety on my side. But he is dropping bombs at a different rate now, so I need to adjust to that. It's so hard to avoid getting hit by the debris. Like when he drops a bomb and the debris kicks up and the debris damages you, and it is so hard to miss it. It's hard to make forward progress without jumping, and it's hard to jump without hitting into a bunch of rings. I'm going to hold right. Oh, but this is just going to take me back the way I came. So I need to, when I get to rings, I need to be holding right and jump, I think. And I could deliberately take damage. That seems to be the right thing to do. Is in the games where I'm safe, deliberately take damage so that I can end up in doing the action I want to in Advance 2. But I think that's sort of one of the things I think is quite interesting about the shufflers, just in general as a concept, is the thing that you're battling against is entirely your capacity as a human being. Like, if you were to make a speedrun of, you know, a speedrun with the shuffler, like, it would be the same as a speedrun normally. Because, like, there is nothing stopping you on a technical level from playing these games absolutely perfectly. But what they're... So all the limitations, all the things that mean you can't do this perfectly, are all the limitations of being human. The fact that you can't keep your head in, and I did it. Woo! I did it. You can't keep your head in 3 different games at the same time. You can't picture where you are and where you need to be and your momentum following through. Like, the action that you need to keep in memory is not something that you can keep track of mentally as a human being. And that's where it gets hard, is because that's the thing you're battling with, is you're battling with, you know, your ability to react, you're battling with your ability to adapt, and what you're adapting to is the fact that information is missing, you know. To a computer, there is no difference between the instant when you switched into a game and the instance when you switched out of it. But to a human being, that, you know, minute when nothing was happening is meaningful, because it is enough time for the game to slip out of your working memory. And I just fell down when I was checking. I saw I had an email come through. And I was like, oh, I need to check that. I'm not sure where I'm meant to go in Advance 2. I know this is the level where Advance 2 starts to add in copious numbers of death pits. So I'm kind of on the lookout for them. Although there's part of me going, I won't remember what's coming until I hit it. So I just have to accept it and pay attention to, once I'm on a grind rail, to say, I'm on a grind rail, I am not allowed to press jump. Like there. I was on a grind rail. I'm going to make a point to not press jump until I see that I'm off the grind rail. Well, that damage, kind of useful, because it's a sort of safe thing where I know I'm in Sonic 2, I don't need to jump. Let's just focus on getting rings without pressing the jump button. Checkpoint is always useful, always valued. I'll just avoid pressing jump until I know I'm off the grind rail. Excellent. Oh, I've got invincibility at the same time in 2 different games. That's lucky. I feel like that's the kind of thing I should, like, take a shot every time that happens or something like that. I'm not sure which way I'm meant to go at the moment. Okay, I fell off of something. Not 100% sure what. So here's time to start paying attention. Paying attention time. It is time for me to pay attention. Not sure which way I'm going anymore. This must be the right way, because I think those things are one way. Maybe I need to try and make sure to take the upper route there. Obviously, remembering where the upper route is kind of important. don't think I need to worry too much about Metropolis Zone. Oh, I did not know I could get squished there. Guess I have to jump through it. At least I got a checkpoint. I don't know how much time lost was there, but I think it might be near 0. Ooh, another extra life. In the game where I have infinite lives. I feel like that should be, if there was a drinking game, that would be another point where I have to drink. If I get an extra life. Just because the extra lives are kind of useless. Let's go a different way to last time. I have to kind of pay attention to what was the thing that killed me last time. I'll be honest, I didn't see it. But I know, I jumped. I jumped. Ah! I was holding a button. I was holding a button when I got a ring. It caused me to jump. 2 extra life. That's 2 shots. Okay. End of Act 1, Metropolis Zone. Goody goody. To Act 2. Down in the same death pit again. Ah, well. Maybe I can use this as an opportunity to try and get into the top area. So I'm holding right because that's what I want to do in Advance 2. And then, okay, so that's good. That's a good start. How far can I jump in Advance 2? I might just end up falling back down into the lower route anyway, so yes, I did. Oh well. So, okay, coming up is the ground rail, so I'm not touching jump, just leaving the controller be, not touching jump. So that is Act 3. So after this is Toy Kingdom, the snow level. There's 4 zones left, basically. 4 zones left in Ocean Base. I think I go up here to get to the boss. Let's find out. Yeah, this is the cannon that shoots me upwards. And then I go to the boss. I can't remember what the boss in this level is. Oh, it's like some springy thing that jumps down from above. Oh, that was lucky. Because... Guess... Okay, I think I've just killed myself anyway. Oh, God. Yeah, that's a death. God. I fluked out of falling into that pit. By all means, I should have died there. And then I did not. But thank you, Izanuela. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Thank you for the follow. I hope you're enjoying the stream. And hello. Hello, and welcome. Welcome to the stream. So yeah, I mean... If you have just joined, what I am trying to do is try and beat 16 different Sonic the Hedgehog games, where, on condition that every time I collect a ring, it switches me into a different game. Now, I've been doing this stream in sessions over a course of about 20 hours so far. Ah, fantastic. I'm glad I pronounced it right. So... I have been playing, not in one go, over various sessions for about 20 hours. Every time Sonic gets a ring, he switches into a different game. There were 16 games in the roster, of which 4 would be in play at any one point in time. And when a game gets beaten, it is taken out of the roster, and a new game is put in. I am now in the final 3 games. And I feel like I have potentially two of the hardest ones in the mix. So, Sonic Advance 3, which I'm playing right now, some real tough sections in it. And then Sonic Advance 2, which is, like, the most brutal of them, because there are a lot of bottomless pits, and there's a lot of grind rails on top of bottomless pits. And the thing is with grind rails is if you're on a grind rail and you press jump, then Sonic will fall off of the grind rail and you will plummet to your death. So yeah, so were they chosen at random? So the list of 16 games was basically 16 games that I wanted to play in the shuffler. So this is a thing that I kind of created earlier this year, the ring shuffler. So every time Sonic gets a ring, it switches to a different game. And so it supports a bunch of different Sonic games. I think it supports 18 different Sonic games, of which I picked the 16 I thought would be most interesting to stream. Plus, like, bootlegs and things as well. Also some Mario games. It, like, runs a NES version of Donkey Kong will switch in it. A bunch of the Puyo Puyo games. The order of the games as they go into the roster for the shuffler was selected at random. So I started out with a randomly selected 4 games, and every time I beat a game, I would click a button, and that would take that game out of the selection, record its time, which is what you can see in green, is those are the times when I finished the games. So I'd take them out, and pick a random new one to fill the gap. So this is the place where I died last time. This is the place where you have to think really careful about not falling into a bottomless pit, because there's quite a few of them around here. And I don't know what causes you to fall in. I think it might have been that bit with the arrow that scuppered me last time. So I might be past this bit. But until we get to a checkpoint, it's still quite risky. Anything could happen. So I'm trying to sort of stick to the upper routes if I can. Because if I stick to the upper routes, that means I am less likely to find myself falling to a bottomless pit, because the chances are there'll be something to catch me when I fall. But, I wouldn't put money on it. And that is the great adventure. Getting near the end of Sonic 2 now, there's only 5 levels left, 4 of which have rings, including this one. So we could be nearing the end of it. Not at the 20 hours and 30 minutes that I thought we would. I think it might take me a little longer than expected. But let's carry on and see. And up I go. So, what is Tails doing? Are you alright, Tails? I like it when he does weird stuff like that. I'm not too worried about Sonic 2. I feel like Sonic 2 I'm largely able to get through without really concentrating too hard. The ones I'm having to concentrate on are the advanced games, and particularly Advance 2. It's a Tails moment, exactly. He's had too much fun for one day, he's tired. Too much excitement for Tails. And that is another death. Oh no, there's a checkpoint. I was really worried we were right at the beginning of the level, and I'd have to go and do that bit that was killing me again. But that's okay. This isn't so bad. Don't feel too worried about that. I think one of the big challenges that Advance 3 has been throwing up is that some levels are a bit maze-like. I feel like Toy Kingdom might be a bit more straightforward, but certainly Green Hill and whatever the previous one was, Ocean Base, were a bit maze-like. It was like I was expending a lot of mental energy trying to figure out which direction I was supposed to go in. Because when you're out of a game and you switch into it, you end up having to recalculate. Wait, where did I think I was? What did I think I was trying to do? Now, I think it's telling me I need to go downwards, so I'm going to trust it. Well, I certainly feel like I've had a few Tails moments myself during this stream. Taking that hit there, I'm not too worried about. So I think in any other game, this jump in Metropolis Zone with the spiky spear blocks in between. In any other game, that would be over a bottomless pit, and that would make it stupid hard to do. In Sonic in Sonic 2, I know there's safe ground beneath me, so I'm not too worried about that set of traps there in Metropolis. But any combination of small platforms with rings on top is usually a recipe for disaster, so could be worse. That said, anticipating what... You only get so long to anticipate what direction the spear's going to poke out at. So I'm making good use of this opportunity to fall off and have another go. So no more rings. So I need to be careful with my jumps here. Don't want to step on the spikes. But there we go. As long as I keep on holding left, I know I'll be safe in Sonic 2. So that's what I'm going to do now. If I can. I want to be holding left when I get a ring. There we go. Safety. So that's something I've had to learn to do with the shuffler, is pay attention to what buttons am I holding down when I get a ring. And now I cannot jump for a little while. If I jump while I get rings, then I will get thrown out of Sonic Advance 2 because it's on a grind rail right now. And if you see me die, you'll know exactly why I died, and you'll know exactly whose fault it was. It was mine. And you can look into the top right corner and see the face of exactly who blew it. It's me! So, no jumping, no jumping. And over, I tried to go. Okay, I thought that button's meant to make the platform come out. Maybe I need to wait a bit or something. And just need to show a bit more patience. There we go, there's the platform. Don't need to get those rings. Shield will be useful. Always be dropping rings. Lose the shield. Never liked it anyway. And this is all about just being patient. any time where the game gets you going left instead of right can really mess with your head. Because you kind of second guess it, like you warp into it and you immediately start going right and you just retrace all your steps. And it seems to come up a lot in these games. Some games involve more going to the left than others. Oh, there goes my ring. The piggy got it. No rings, that's dangerous. Hope I get some. Oh, I didn't need any. It was the end of the level. Okay. Is it random which game shows up next? Yes, it will be. So right now there are... yeah, so when you get a ring, it will... from the selection of other orange games, of which there are 3, it will pick one at random. So if I'm in Sonic 2, I will get put in either Sonic Advance 2 or Sonic Advance 3. It doesn't... There is no kind of way to predict which one it will throw you in. It is totally random. In terms of what ends up in the list, what's currently a list of 3, but through most of the stream has been a list of 4, those are picked at random. Every time a game gets beaten, a new game gets... an unplayed game gets put into the list to replace it, and those are selected at random as well. I like randomness. I like things to be unpredictable. Unpredictable, that's what I am. But yeah, I like unpredictable things. I like it when because you have to deal with what the game throws at you. That's I find that more interesting than I don't know. I do like adapting to unpredictable situations on the fly. Is something I seem to be drawn to in games in general. So I guess gives a bit of an explanation for the kind of stuff I make. I feel like there might be some bottomless pits in this level somewhere. So, in the Toy Kingdom Sonic Advance 3, so I may have to be a little bit careful. But we'll see. Can I get up onto that from here? Yes. Yes, I can. Do I need to go up here? I think I do. I think we're going to get squished. I didn't get squished. Chaotic neutral. Exactly. Exactly. I feel quite happy at being called chaotic neutral, to be honest. Should put that on my CV. Chaotic neutral. No idea where I'm supposed to be going in this level now. But that looks like progress because there's rings there, so let's keep it going. I don't even need to move there. He gets onto a swing automatically if you're pressing in the right direction. Oh, it's already... We're already at the 20 hours and 30 minutes mark, which means my prediction for when we finish Sonic 2 has been proven wrong. which is ever so shameful, ever so shameful. But my hope was, and it was like a kind of a hope, but without actually thinking I'd actually be able to do it, is that I would beat all 16 games within 24 hours. That's looking a lot more achievable now, which I'm quite happy about. Up into the sky. And... so, no particularly deadly situations. Oh my god! I shouldn't have said that. I feel like there's not been many particularly deadly situations in Advanced 2 at the moment, which I'm quite happy about. Advanced 3 is proving relatively straightforward at the moment. Oh, I swear there are, like, killer areas at some point in that level, but we'll find out. There we go. Another level down. Grab some water. Stay hydrated. Right. Sky Canyon Act 2. Can't remember what's in this level, but I feel like it might be quite a challenge. Let's find out. I like getting Sonic to do the tricks. Who would put... I'll tell you who would put a third act in a zone in Sonic 2. Someone who is as cool and chaotic neutral as I am. That's who it would be. And also welcome to the stream, Aramamon. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, by the way. Welcome to the stream, Aramamon. I hope you're enjoying it. If you have missed the explanation of what is going on, I'll give you that right now. What I'm doing is I've been trying to beat 16 different Sonic the Hedgehog games with the Ring Shuffler, which is a version of the BizHawk emulator that I made. I didn't make BizHawk, I made the version that does this. And what this version does is every time Sonic gets a ring, it will switch him into a different game. There are 4 games in the roster at any one point in time. Well, actually 3 now, because I've beaten a bunch of them. But the idea was that there would be 4 at any point in time. Every time I beat a game, that game will be removed from the roster, and other games will be added in. So if you can see on the left-hand side, all of the green games are games I have already beaten, in the order they were beaten in. You can see at what time I beat them. And what it doesn't give you an impression of exactly which ones were the hard ones and which ones were the easy ones. Yeah. Oh well, should have thought about when I put that in, but oh well. But yeah, so we are nearing the end of the run, in that there are no more unplayed games, which means that these 3 are the only games that haven't been finished yet. So Sonic 2 was the last to get added to the list. That was added after I beat Dr. Robotnik's Mean Beam Machine. Sonic Advance 3 was the penultimate one added to the list. That got added after I beat Sonic 1 on the Master System, I believe. Or was it? Yeah, it was. And then I beat Sonic 2 on the Master System just before I went to bed last night, and it was very difficult. Certainly the last level. I mean, big things that become really difficult. Water levels. Because it is very easy to drown in levels where you can't, like, where you're not kind of moving at a consistent speed because you keep on, you keep on ducking out of the game, and then as a result of that, you end up, you get kicked out of the game, and then when you kick back in, you're going in the wrong direction. You lose a lot of speed, you forget about the water, and then you start to hear the drowning music when it's too late to do anything about it. Sonic 2 on the Master System has some good water levels. Aquatic Reef in Sonic 2 killed me a bunch of times. I think I had a couple of drowning incidents in Sonic 1 on the Master System, Sonic 1 on the Mega Drive, and also Sonic Advance 1 had some good drowning incidents there. There are 2 more levels in Sonic 2 with rings in them, so we are very close to figuring out, we're very close to a situation where we will have beaten Sonic 2, and there will only be 2 games left in the shuffler. So get a ring for safety, but beyond that, I can largely stay out of trouble in Sky Chase. So we'll try to do that, because it would probably be helpful for me to basically eliminate Sonic 2 from the run, and then I just have 2 of the hardest games left. What were the hardest games to beat like this? I think, different games had different stupid tough sections in them. I mean, Sonic Spinball was probably the hardest game on account of just being the hardest game. I think Sonic Advance 2, the Ring Shuffler does it does a lot of work to make that game harder than it would be otherwise. I would say I'll be honest, I think the Sonic Advance trilogy are probably the hardest 3 games, where that difficulty is created by the shuffler itself. Because they do have a lot of bottomless pits in them. And they also have kind of boss areas where rings can really scupper you. I'd probably say Sonic Advance 2 wins the award for most interesting interaction with the Ring Shuffler. Knuckles Chaotix was a game that drove me absolutely up the wall, but the way it did it was a really interesting way of interacting with the Ring Shuffler, in that it is so easy to get lost in Knuckles Chaotix. And when you get lost and you have to figure out your way, and then you spend a minute trying to reorient yourself, get a ring, and it throws you into whatever bit you were struggling with in another game. And I think that's what's kind of interesting about Chaotix in particular, is it's a game that makes all the other games harder, because you can't concentrate on the other games when you're having to find your way out of Knuckles Chaotix all the time. Knuckles Chaotix itself is not a difficult game, but it's just so easy to get lost because everywhere looks the same. 1 more level with rings, so we are nearing the end of Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Exciting times, very exciting times. 3D Blast was also interesting because, again, it's another one of these ones where you get lost kind of easily, but you have to keep on reorienting yourself because it's the only game on this board, which works on, like, which works on 3 axes instead of 2, given that it is 3D. Yeah, I mean, I think from a kind of scientific perspective, in a way, I'm kind of glad the Advanced 2 and 3 came up last, because I'd already played them in a shuffler, so I kind of knew what made them interesting to a certain degree. So the ones I'm learning more from are all the other ones which I haven't really played in a shuffler before. However, it is also extra nice that I think what I'm fairly certain are the hardest, or 2 of the hardest games, end up at the end of the stream. Although I guess it's probably makes sense that I would finish on a tough one, because you expect the easy ones to be finished earlier than the others. I guess except for Spinball, which is difficult but doesn't have a lot of rings in it. And it is going to be interesting. I think we might end up with some really kind of fast switching coming up when we just have Advanced 2 and Advanced 3, because they have a lot of rings in them. And I'm not having to switch out into a game which doesn't have so many rings in it. And I've not seen that before. You know, when I was playing with Sonic Advance, you know, when I played the Sonic Advance trilogy in the shuffler, I would keep on switching into Advance 1, which doesn't have as many rings as the other 2. So, you know, that would kind of keep the pace fairly slow. We might end up seeing some really fast-paced action once we end up with just the 2, like, super fast, super ringy games going on at the same time. Missing a difficult chunk there. There's part of me that goes, oh, I should probably have, you know, done that properly just to see what it does to the interaction with the game. I'm so used to doing that skip on automatic, so didn't even cross my mind. So avoid getting the rings if we can, brings us ever closer to the exit, saves us having to reorient ourselves whenever we return to Sonic 2, means we move with a nice consistent momentum. And hello and welcome back, Animus. I did not realise that was you. Well, welcome back. You have arrived in time to see the grand finale. But I suspect the actual grand finale is still going to be a while, because we've got a lot of Advance 2 and Advance 3 left to play. This is the bit I was slightly dreading in Sonic 2, and it's over already. It's quite easy to avoid getting those rings. Okay. I think there might be rings in this next section which could make it kind of hard. No, there are not. So jumping on these turrets should be okay. I'll be honest, this was the segment I was expecting to be really hard in Sonic 2, and there's no rings here, so I don't feel so bad. I'd say Sonic 2 has generally been quite easy. I think the only bit where I feel like it gave me the runaround was drowning in Aquatic Ruin. There was almost an interesting section in Metropolis Zone. Oh, Sonic's fighting Daleks all the time. I mean, he's the main guy who fights against Daleks. Like, forget Doctor Who. Yeah, the levels in Advance 2 when the pits begin to show up. This is the bit where I expect the game to start melting my eyes and making me cry, because bottomless pits, and of course with bottomless pits, grind rails over bottomless pits, and when you're on a grind rail, do not press jump. And that means you can't be pressing jump in another game when it switches you into Advance 2. So you have to be really careful. So I've started kind of taking my thumbs off of the controller when I don't need to use it and just kind of holding them up in the air, almost like I'm making an extra effort to not even be near the jump button. Because that can be a real killer. Yeah, that is, potentially true. Well, we'll see how bad it gets. If it does get bad, I will just edit the description to add it in. But we'll see what happens. In we go. Shield is nice and helpful in a situation where I have no rings. Yeah! 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 Okay, there goes my... Oh. Okay, so watch out for that lion. Oh, it turned around. There we go. And get a ring! Hooray! And... up I go. Checkpoints are good. I like checkpoints. That's the end of a level. And this takes us to a boss. So if there's one thing harder than falling off into bottomless pits, it's bosses. Wish me luck. Hello! Hello, Pepin, and I apologise for saying your name wrong, because I know I'm saying it wrong, and I think I called you Pepin yesterday. I'm not actually sure how to pronounce your name, even though I recognise, like... So, and I feel like I've been calling you Pepin for a while. I'm not actually... Pepin is perfect! I mean, we know that, but how's my pronunciation? Welcome to the stream. Thanks for coming back. So, where we are is in a very interesting situation because we are near the end of Sonic 2. Very near the end of Sonic 2. Sonic Advance 2, we are... I want to say we're getting near the 2/3 mark now. But Sonic Advance 2 gets much harder as it goes on. The bottomless pits become nastier and harder to avoid. The bosses are a permanent source of destruction. This boss has a one-hit kill on it. That big hand can kill you in one hit, and I can't remember how it kills you in one hit. But unless I die here, which is unlikely, we may be seeing our final rings in the game. I can't remember if it's when it slaps you or when it karate chops you. So right now, that giant hand is doing, there we go, there's our rings. So as long as I don't get hurt, this is the last of the rings, but I'm not going to guarantee that I'm not going to get hurt. There we go, I got hurt. Lots of getting hurt. And there we go. There's my opportunity to not get hurt. So. So, we might have a little while in Wing Fortress. As I learn that I am not as good at this game as I once thought. But I'm glad my pronunciation is correct, because I don't like pronouncing people's names wrong. I know I have my surname in particular is Aitchison. You know, people say Haitchison and things like they add an extra H that isn't there and stuff all the time, and it used to wind me up a lot. Although, and I started to realise, okay, I think it's a long word. It's like, and I'm talking like British people. Weirdly, I found. Outside the UK, people tend to be able to pronounce Aitchison without problem. And I think it's just because they spend a little bit more time looking at it before figuring out how they think it's supposed to be pronounced. Whereas British people just see it and they go, oh, I know that name, it's Atchison or Atchinson. They'll like that, add extra letters into the middle or something. And it's weird. like, when I've been abroad, and, like, say if I'm giving a talk and someone announces me, the pronunciation of Aitchison is usually perfect. And then in the UK, I would say 90% of the time, it's wrong, including from people who know me, and that is the one-hit kill. It's the slap is the one-hit kill. Maybe the karate chop is also a one-hit kill, I can't remember. And one hit. I could just take it easy. I don't need to rush. I need to rush. Get myself my ring. Oh, there we go. Thank you, Tails. I was kind of just getting smashed up a bit there, and Tails came and saved me. So thank you, Tails. This stream is brought to you by Tails. A delicious treat with every meal. Are you having trouble with Act 3? Then try Tails. Well, well. Hello, Sonic. Amy! Going to ask me out? No, I'm on my way to... I knew we were meant to be... Together? No such thing. Why don't you just admit it? Let's not use the hammer. You may select Amy now. Your name was super close to the German word for fast. Oh, that's awesome. I mean, I guess you can still... Oh, God. Now I'm thinking... sorry, I got lost in a little reverie there, because I was thinking about... Because I've been thinking about whether I should, like, have a stage name instead of going by Aitchison all the time, which is hard to read and hard to pronounce and all of these things. And going, should I just have a shorter stage name? Because I do stage performances and stuff as well. And you can only unlock characters in this game by having Sonic as the main character. I did not know that. I always play as Sonic and Tails, like, except for, you know, when I'm sort of experimenting. I think I just, like... all of the others just kind of feel wrong or something. I don't know what it is. I want to play as Sonic and Tails. It's like, it's nice to have all the others, and they're amazing, and I've seen the speedrun, and it blows my mind the stuff they're able to do, like, making use of the character combos. Yeah. Okay, I can see how having a name that's complicated and frustrating to spell, must be a frustration for anything legal. I mean, I've got so used to, like, on anything official, like, or phone calls, my surname isn't Aitchison, it's Aitchison, A-I-T, C-H. I immediately, like, I always, like, when I give my name, immediately start spelling it. And there we go. That is the end of Rings in Sonic 2. So we are near the end of Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Putting us into Ring Chaos with what are possibly the two ringiest games in the thing, without having a horrific capacity for making me get lost like Knuckles Chaotix, which is also very ringy, but also very getting lost in blank space and going, where the hell am I? So what we might see is quite a chaotic stream from this moment forwards. But first, we must fly up to the Death Egg Zone and defeat the evil Dr. Robotnik and his Metal Sonic friend. Silver Sonic, I think I always used to call this... This was Silver Sonic. I know there's, like... I don't think anyone can agree on a name for this thing, and I guess... I used to always get 3 hits in there. I think it was 3. I used to be really good at timing this boss, but I have not played it in a long time. one more. No. Okay, one more hit. Or was Silver Sonic the one in Sonic 2? I think I called them both Silver Sonic. And then Metallics was the name of the Metal Sonic and Sonic CD, because that's what they called him in the comics. Oh, do I spell it in NATO alphabet? That's a very good idea. Can I get... There we go. Yeah, I've started, like, I don't usually go for that, but I kind of, as in, where by that I mean, spelling my name in the phonetic, NATO phonetic alphabet. H is in hippo. Hippo is the best H word. That was close. You have to get a good run up to get the right height and time it right. But I guess it's one of those skills that never leaves you. I know you can hit him when he falls down here as well. But I'm kind of playing it safe. There's strange the things that I'm happy to play safe with and the things that I'm not happy to. I guess hippo's quite a nice word because it's fun, but also, like, there's not words that you're going to get mistaken for. It's not like, oh, hippo, did you say hippo or Zeppo, as in Zeppo Marks or something? Like, it's not going to come up. That's Sonic 2 beaten. 20 seconds, 56 minutes, 20 hours, 56 minutes, and 46 seconds. Makes so, I mean, the closest guess was Chippy with 20 hours and 36 minutes expected on Sonic 2. So well done, Chippy, for being the closest guess. 2 more games. We'll see. It's okay. It's 10:30 at night. Am I going to have a go and see if I can beat the other 2 tonight? Am I going to leave it for another night? Let's go for it. Let's see what I can do. Freshen up, have a drink of water. I'll see where I'm getting on. I might, at some point, like, leave the final 2 games for tomorrow, but let's see how I go. Let's wait for Sonic to jump up, leap into the air, express his elation at having won, and I shall take the game out of the roster, and we shall be in our final 2 Sonic the Hedgehog games with the Shuffler. And it's out of there. A grand total of 2 games remain in the Shuffler. The intensity can only increase. I am more than halfway in both. That is a good point. So, what do you think my time... Oh, there's Robotnik. Forgot I was in a boss level. I'm in 2 bosses at the same time. It's double boss action here on the Alistair channel. Thank you for the elite GGs. And much deserved on the whoop. But that arm I'm worried about. I don't have to worry about the laser anymore. I am worried. I can't remember if that karate chop is a one-hit kill. That slap is a one-hit kill. I don't like it when it's wobbling back and forth. It looks like it wants to do something mean. There we go. Okay, the karate chop is a one-hit kill. Cool. Good times. so as long as I don't get hit, I should be okay against Robotnik here. I got hit. And I lost my ring, so this one might take a couple of attempts. Yeah, okay, so that's a death. I suspect this might make it a bit easier, knowing, like, it's kind of predictable, and I'm not going to spend too long outside of any one game. So, if I'm like, okay, I am in a difficult situation in one particular game, I'm no longer having to worry about, you know, hold on to that thought for a minute as I go through whatever other games I'm supposed to be playing, you know, waiting for it to randomly switch me into the game that's giving me trouble. Oh wow, he comes in fast. So I guess I'm allowed to take a scrape from the hand, but I'm not allowed to take a direct hit. Happy to take that hit to get the rings. It is kind of fun seeing the... Oh... Seeing what look like quite similar landscapes switching in and out of each other. So I don't know how long the rocket takes to... 1, 2, 3... No, it wasn't 3 seconds. And I'm spending less time going, oh, I need to hold down left, or I need to hold down right, I guess, because... Wow! That was lovely. Did not know that could happen. I guess I am not entirely sure why that toy soldier hurt me. Oh, okay, I was lucky to avoid a hit there. The hand is going. No, too late to hit Knuckles. And remember, I've got the air dash. That's something I didn't know when I was playing this game casually. I only found out last time I streamed it. Was the air dash, but the air dash is incredibly useful against this boss. Wait till the hand goes past, and then I can, yeah, I guess, I mean, just having a feel of it makes sense for a lot of things. I feel like there's a lot of things I've learned to do in games just from kind of having a feel for it. Like timing the flippers, how to get the ball, the flippers in Sonic Spinball to hit the final boss. If I just, like, walk forward slowly like that, that seems to be a good way to do that. But, like, hitting the flippers in Spinball... There we go. That was something that I really struggled with until I just seemed to get a feel for it yesterday. And I could get, like, 4 hits on the button in a row by the end. Which, I'll be honest, like, when I was practicing at home, I think, you know, I would have sooner believed I would have become an astronaut before guessing I'd be able to do that. So, that's a bit of a win. Oh dear, no more rings. Oh, thank you, Tails. And then start my strolling. I don't want him to do the Wrecking Ball. Don't know why I don't want it. There's the Wrecking Ball, but it can't come out this far. So I'm just going to be patient, jump a lot, because of these toy soldiers. That's enough, that's enough. Okay, cool, I'm happy. I don't remember that boss being so hard. Oh, I'm going to pay for this, says Robotnik. We'll see, we'll see. Oh, am I meant to leave the level? I was waiting for the level to end. I was like, ah. Well, I had a sip of water, so that's good. That's constructive. So we could be on the home stretch in 2 games. We've got 3 zones left. I think it's the Ice Zone coming up next in Advance 3. Twinkle Snow. And then that should be enough. And now we're on to a difficult section. But, okay, so here's run in. No, okay, I got a slap. Oh god, pits like that. I remember it was Jungle Zone in Sonic 1 on the Master System. Like, I could beat the boss and then I would always fall into the pit right afterwards. I just could not make the jump because it's on a slope in Jungle Zone on the Master System. Ah, god, and it would... Ah, it's so frustrating to have finally beaten the boss. And then you fall in the bottomless pit near the boss. Sonic 1 on the Master System is great. Got a lot of respect for that game. I do like what they did with the Master System games. If I can go up here. I mean, you could also start using ring damage quite easily as a way to switch into Sonic Advance 2 if I'm struggling with Advance 2's bosses. Because it's ever so slightly more straightforward now to be able to say I know where I'm going. I know I'm going towards to Advance 2. Ooh, that was lucky. Just slightly easier to avoid the rings perhaps in this level. But maybe I'm just getting too big for my britches. Felt like I got a little too close to the hand there. Hand's moving. I don't like it when the hand moves. I want to wait for it to slap and then run in. Okay, there we go. So we're on to pinch mode, so that's good. That's good. I don't think the pattern changes when it's in boss pinch. No. Which is where the music changes. Nearly got a good hit in there. Nearly. Kinda had to react quickly if I wanted to get a good hit in there. But I'll be honest, I feel like I've got a bit of a rhythm going for this boss now. There we go. Ah, it was tight. That I was not sure if that hand was about to karate chop me. I got cocky. I got cocky there. I knew I could just take it easy and was like, no, no, I'm too cool for taking it easy. Sonic has good underwater momentum in this. Like, it doesn't feel like you're unable to accelerate. And he keeps his momentum in the water. It's not like treacle. think I'm going to drown. Holding left. Oh no, that's a drowning. Bye-bye, Sonic. That's okay, I can accept that. I don't think I need the spring, I can just use Tails. I'll take the air. That was well-timed air. Oh yeah, there was no way I was going to get out with enough air if I missed, missed that. I mean, one thing I could do is start using Sonic Advance 2 as a dud game. Because I can kind of collect rings in it by doing nothing for like, and you will eventually pick up rings, so... and focus my attention on playing Advance 3 properly. But this does feel a lot closer to being able to play the games as intended. He's going to zap me again. Oh. Oh well. Yeah, just don't hang around. I need to remember not to hang around in front of it. That's what kills me. Oh wow, that's a bottomless pit. I did not realise. Did not realise there was any danger there whatsoever. That's good. Kind of launch myself into the thing there. Am I losing my edge? I feel a bit like I'm losing my edge. I feel like I had this this boss under my belt, and now I'm just kind of failing to do whatever it was I was doing so well. So what I might do is, looking at the time, because it's 11 o'clock here, nearly. I probably shouldn't stay up too late. So what I might do is... call it a day after I've beaten this boss, and then can do the grand finale tomorrow. And it'll be a fun betting game of how long do you think it will take me to finish the entire run. What will be my final time? And then we can do a Twitter poll. People can type into the Twitch chat. It's 21 hours at the moment, giving me, well, so I've got 2 hours and 50 minutes roughly if I want to beat it. Under 24 hours, so it should be within my grasp. But I would not put money on that. I've got to remember how to get... was that Act 2 I did, or was that I think that was Act 1. That was Act 1. I'll go this way, take Tails with me, there we go. Into Act 2. Okay, so that's the cannon out the way. Oh, that was lucky, because that was a karate chop, so that could have been a one-hit kill. But now it feels like Advanced 3 is the game I'm spending time in when I want to be in Advanced 2, which is interesting. That's a bit of a change in dynamic, because I'm not used to spending periods of time in Advanced 2. Oh, come on! That just glanced me. Oh, well. 'Tis but a flesh wound. Get Tails to sling me up there. Yes. Thank you, Tails. Probably good that I didn't get too close there, because that's quite close to my hand. You really do have to think about your timing with the Advanced 2 bosses, and because you keep on getting switched out of it, it messes up that timing, because you need to figure out what the timing needs to be in very short order. You do not get a lot of room to sort of get the measure of your surroundings and then act accordingly. I keep on thinking I can go in and get a hit on Knuckles, and you can't. You end up too close to the hand. The hand just slaps you. And it's harder to do it kind of methodically, because you've always got in your head a sense of, like, well, it's hard to keep a consistent strategy, because you're having to remember whatever it was you were trying to do. You're having to kind of get a feel for that again in very short order. And down I go to my death. It's a long way down. Sleep well, Pepin. Good to see you. Thanks for coming along. And thank you very much for the wishes of Fruity Loops. Breakfast cereal is my god, so I appreciate wishes of Fruity Loops, because it makes me think of happy cereal joy. I got Christmas pudding flavoured cereal at Sainsbury's, and I'm really happy about it. I usually, I try not to buy cereal, because I eat that stuff like a man possessed. I eat breakfast cereal like I have a breakfast cereal problem. I find it very hard to stop once I started eating, but if I see a new breakfast cereal I've not seen before, I do need to try it. And I couldn't just see Christmas pudding flavoured breakfast cereal on the shelves and ignore it, especially when it was half price as well. So yeah. Oh, Chocos. Okay, right. So I don't know if what a Chocos. I mean, I know you're going to bed, so I don't want to keep you up. I think Chocos. Are you thinking of the ones that are kind of like, almost like pistachio nut shell, that kind of shape? Oh, that was a lucky hit. I kind of feel like I should have got slapped by the hand there, and I didn't. I got away with murder. Chocolate flakes are kind of like, I think I'm thinking of the ones that you're thinking of. But basically, I mean, I'm sure... oh, okay, so here's the thing, is I know that in continental Europe, you do not get the same cereals as we get here in the UK. I noticed mostly, I mean, it might be different in Belgium. Certainly was true in France. I used to live in France when I was a student, and I had to discover all the French cereals, which is a very different breakfast culture, because cereal's a bit more of an unusual thing to eat for breakfast. In France, I don't know if it's the same in Belgium. But muesli. Alpen muesli, which is this muesli which comes, like, it's in this kind of fine powder. So you've got your oats and your raisins and things, and it's all stuck together with this powder that's made of, I guess, ground up wheat and oats and things, and also sugar. You mix Cocoa Pops, so that's like the chocolate rice puffs, chocolate Rice Krispies or whatever. We call them Cocoa Pops. You mix that with Alpen muesli, and it is the most incredible thing you will ever try. I'm not kidding. It's the best, like, I think it's the best sort of wonder cereal that you can actually make at home. Now, wonder cereals, I'm talking about your kind of class A cereals, so, so your Class A cereals are things like Crunchy Nut Clusters, because you should always mix your cereals. But there's some cereals where mixing cereals could only make that cereal worse. And it's a rare thing, it's not common, but Crunchy Nut Clusters, if you have Crunchy Nut Clusters, then they'll say, what's the mascot on Chocos? What's the mascot in the UK version of Chocos? Because I might recognise it. Is it a monkey? Because we used to have Cocoa Pops used to have a cartoon monkey as the mascot. I assume they still do. But that's the one I'm thinking of, which you can add to muesli and make it incredible. Anyway, I'm keeping you up. I'm keeping you up, making you think about breakfast. That can't be helpful. Like, so don't let you stop me going to sleep. If you do, you'll have fantastic dreams, because there'll be dreams of breakfast cereal. That's the last of the rings. So we need to start being a bit more careful, because we are running out of rings. So I'm just looking for nice situations where I know I can make a mad dash for Knuckles. So I'm kind of hanging back a bit. And, oh, that was nearly a hit on Knuckles. That's it, that's it, that's it. Count Chocula. I've never tried Count Chocula. I don't know what Count Chocula is. I feel like I need to know. And there's Knuckles. Chasing after me. He's all burnt. Brown bear with blue apron pants. Huh. I wonder, because honestly, I've not heard of a cereal just called Chocos before. Like, Choco Krispies, Choco Flakes. I mean, again, it might be really easy to, like... And I guess, but the thing is, like, supermarkets will have their own brand, so it's like, what is called, you know, Choco Pops by one company. Kellogg's Chocos, right. How have I not heard of Kellogg's Chocos before? I may have to go on a supermarket pilgrimage to find this mysterious cereal. Because if there's a cereal I haven't tried, I need to eat it. It's like the apple in the Garden of Eden to me. Like, I made a promise not to eat of the tree of cereal, and I'm going to break that because of curiosity. Like, there's a real kind of biblical thing going on here. But I did promise myself that I would wrap up right now as well. So I think I am going to call it a night here as well. Resume the stream. I'll switch this on to pause. Flakes of Choco stuff. I feel like I can picture what you're talking about, but I've also had things that are like cornflakes covered in chocolate, and also things which I've only ever found in Europe, which are these kind of like, they're shell shaped. They're like this. If you can see what I'm doing with my hand, they're kind of like a cupped shell shape. But yeah, I'm going cereal pilgrimage. Unfortunately, the supermarket's closed at 11, so I'll have to go in tomorrow to do a hunt for. Okay, those shells. I know the ones. I reckon they'd be awesome in muesli. These days I try to eat porridge for breakfast because it's considerably healthier. And like with breakfast cereal, I can just eat and eat and eat and eat. And it's like I finish a bowl, I'll pour myself another bowl. With porridge, I can't do that. Like, if I try to eat a second bowl of porridge, I will get full. So that's why I've switched to porridge on breakfast, but I will get myself cereal as a sneaky treat. And honestly, it is like the tree of knowledge in the Garden of Eden to me. It's the most amazing thing ever. Anyway, thank you very much for coming along, everyone. Hope you've all enjoyed it. We have 2 games left in the roster. Sonic Advance 2, we have 2 zones left to beat, I think. So that's 4 non-boss levels and 3 boss levels. Sonic Advance 3, we've got the best part of 3 zones left to do. So it feels like we've got most game left is Sonic Advance 3. But most danger left is Sonic Advance 2. I don't know which one I'll beat first. Don't know when I'll beat it. So I guess that is up to you, the viewers, to decide. So place your bets. Put it into chat. Come along tomorrow and put it into chat. Which game do you think I'll beat first? When do you think I'm going to beat the full roster? I'm going to make myself the save states. And then do the same for Advance 2. There we go. Made some save states. That is the end of my stream for tonight, but I hope you have all had a fantastic time. Look after yourselves, look after other. Eat delicious breakfast cereal, consume it, experience joy. Have yourselves a fantastic evening, fantastic night. Have yourselves a fantastic tomorrow. Keep on being awesome. And yeah, as always, I feel like I've said look after yourselves, look after each other like 7 times already. But one more time, look after yourselves, look after each other. Thanks for coming along. Bye-bye, everyone. Bye.